A lot of people who are starting out with software development, they're either like losing faith in learning their foundations, or they're just like not sure where to aim. The barrier to initial entry has been lowered somewhat, but then like the barrier to entry to the next step has risen quite a lot. One of the downsides of YouTube is that it's hard to get deep skills from there. It's very easy to get illusions of competence.
Hello, welcome to the JetBrains booth, and now we have Sheena with me. And wow, Sheena is actually our Python Software Foundation board member, and also she's leading the Education and Outreach Workgroup, so she's professional in education.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I am one of the directors of the Python Software Foundation, and my main focus is on education there, which is a lot of fun. And beyond that, I have my own company that does education. We do advanced technical training, generally Python, agentic engineering. We do teamwork training as well, so if there's a team that's struggling to team, then we help them out. We do teacher training, all sorts of training. So that's my jam, is education. Yeah.
So let's talk about the survey that we did earlier. In our Python developer survey, 29% said that they will learn new things about Python in online tutorials, and 8% said that they will use AI chatbots to do it. So with your experience, what do you think is the best way to learn Python?
So I would say going with tutorials is probably the best bet, and then to amplify that with AI. The reason I say that is because when you're just starting out, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what questions to ask an AI. You don't know why things are important. You don't know about the pitfalls. And so it's really helpful to have somebody or something that'll go on a whole journey with you. So unless you're working with something like an AI that's been designed to take you on a journey, I'd say find a tutorial or a book that does the job. And then of course, if something gets confusing, use an AI to plug the gaps. The fact that it's a narrative really, really helps.
Yeah, we know AI is not going anywhere. So what do you think AI could impact, education in Python or education in general?
It's so big. So education in Python, I think one of the big challenges is we don't really know what the future of software development will look like. A lot of people have theories and opinions, but it's hard to nail down. It's not something we can prove. And so a lot of people who are starting out with software development, they're either losing faith in learning their foundations, or they're just not sure where to aim. They think that their skill set needs to be something other than maybe what it needs to be, because their opinions are extra ill-informed. Personally, I think the foundations matter a lot, because even if you're doing something like spec-driven development, when you're reviewing your specs, you need to review it with an engineering mindset, and that mindset comes from doing the reps and making mistakes and writing code. So there's a gap there, and I think that gap is hard to name even. It's hard to explain what skills are needed, and it's hard to get people there, given that a lot of the heavy lifting is being done by AI these days. One of the lessons that I learned as a teacher quite early on was don't deprive people of their struggles, because their struggles are where they learn. You can't help somebody too much. But beginner programmers, they're getting a lot of help. And so they're deprived of their struggles, they're not doing the reps, they're not learning the skills, and I don't know where that's going to take everyone. So that's the one side, there are difficulties there. There's also some challenges in the job market, so that means fewer people are even trying to get into software development, which is a problem. There's a lot that's interesting there. So on the one hand, a lot more people are coming into software development because they can vibe something up, and then they hit a wall, and now they need to figure out how to go a bit further. So the barrier to initial entry has been lowered somewhat, but then the barrier to entry to the next step has risen quite a lot. And then there's of course the struggles of actually learning. It's very, very easy for people to cheat themselves and cheat the system and not learn the lessons. So it's harder than ever for educators to actually see who's struggling and see who needs help. So I think a lot of students are cheating the system, unfortunately, and that means that they're cheating themselves. So there's many layers to this thing. It's a beast. Yeah.
It's quite complicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next thing I found it quite surprising in the survey is that these days, actually, 42% of developers say that they will learn about new tools and technology, and 45% learn about it in YouTube.
Okay.
So it's like, do you think that like the way we kind of consume information is changing, and like how can this impact, for example, like developers who are earlier in their career? Like
it's tricky. So I think we are learning about things in different ways, and YouTube is fantastic. Like you can learn to take your car apart and put it back together on YouTube. It's great. It's a wonderful resource, but it's also built to distract you and keep you in there. So I think there's a lot to do with just like attention management, which is difficult. Like people don't learn attention management skills, but one of the downsides of YouTube is that it's hard to get deep skills from there. It's very easy to get illusions of competence. Like if you're learning about a new thing and you're watching somebody code, it can feel easy, it can feel familiar. You can be nodding along, being like, yeah, I can do that. But then when you have to do it yourself, then you actually can't do that. Familiarity, the feeling of being like, I recognize that. It feels a lot like you understand it, but you don't. And so a lot of people just aren't doing the reps that they need to. It's easier to watch than to do. So I think a piece of advice there is like, if you're learning stuff on YouTube, like put it into practice, like actually try it out and see if you can do it. Then it's actually learning. Until you do it yourself, you're just like building is not a spectator sport.
So if you don't get your hands dirty, you learn nothing, right? So there's also 10% of the developers who answer the questions say that they first learned Python in high school. Do you think more schools should start teaching Python?
Yes, definitely. So that question I think can be answered in almost two layers. Like, is it worth learning to code in high school? Yes, I would say so. It's a new kind of literacy. It's almost like if you'd never heard of a screwdriver, there's like a whole set of ideas that you would not have access to, because it's just like you'd never think of like how you can attach things together. Code is like that. Even if you never write a line of code in your life, even if you maybe you'll write some in order to learn, but even if that's not your profession, that's not the way you want to go, it gives you mental tools that you can use, and it gives you a different way of looking around, looking through the world and like seeing what's possible. I was recently at a meetup called Josie JS. I infiltrate JavaScript meetups back home and try to tell them about Python. And this young girl comes up to me and she says, is it possible to build a passion for code? And I was like, what are you passionate about? It wasn't code, it was something else, I don't remember. But like, I was like, can that be amplified with code? Can you build leverage with code? She's like, oh yeah. And then suddenly, like, I could see the sparkles in her eyes. I mean, if you're interested in marine biology or space exploration or crypto, whatever, like, the code can amplify your work. So it can amplify it, and like just knowing how it works amplifies your ability to think through problems. So that's the first level. The second level is like, Python, is that really the best bet? I'd say probably the main competitor would be JavaScript, but I think that Python is a better teacher. So I've taught them both professionally to people who are like starting out in their careers, and I can say that Python teaches you a lot of good habits. That's a big part of it, and those habits can spread to wherever you go. The other thing that's really cool about it is that it grows with you. So you can use it to write these like little throwaway scripts, and that's great. But you can also use it to write like enterprise level software, and that's fantastic too. So the fact that it's so versatile and you can use it to chase whatever passion, it's top notch.
Yeah, I know like a lot of teachers also teach Python in school, and like what are some of the challenges that they tell you about? And also like when you teach Python in a professional setting, what are the challenges?
Okay, so teaching Python in school is hard. I think like for teachers themselves, if they're not practitioners, if they don't actually work as software engineers at all, then it's hard for them to sometimes grasp like the why behind the different things that they're teaching. So it can be like they can easily become cargo cultists themselves, which is a real problem. And there's different problems depending on where you go. So like I've spent a bunch of time in like different African communities. I'm from South Africa, and I visit things like PyCon Namibia and stuff like that. And I interact with teachers there because it's something I love. And often teachers just don't have support. They're just like, they don't have anywhere to go with their problems. They've just been assigned this task of teach Python to the children. They're like, I don't know, how do I do this? And they want to, but it's like, like they need to learn. And then the other thing, of course, is that they don't know how to answer questions about AI and where things are going. If a little kid asks a teacher, like, what is the future of code? Like, they're not well equipped to answer. So it's really difficult. I think teaching code to professionals, that's a different story. Like, I suppose with the courses that I do, it's typically like I teach advanced skills. So the folks that are going to my courses, they've already got strong foundations. I actually find teaching the basics way harder than teaching advanced skills, because teaching the basics, you need to teach all sorts of metacognitive skills and like how to check yourself, and it's like you almost need to teach a philosophy of code as well as the code itself. Teaching advanced skills, you generally need to just know the stuff, and motivation becomes important. Like, you need to teach the right things and make it really relevant to people, and you need to like know what's likely to be useful. So yeah, it's very different.
Yeah. I know there's like a lot of challenge in teaching, but also like maybe for people learning Python as well. So any advice if someone like, okay, I heard about Python, this is amazing, they may want to start their learning journey, like, but where should they start? And like, you know, any advice for people like that?
Okay, that's good. So I'd say, like, if you were to Google how to learn Python, there's so many different resources, and a lot of them are free, which is great. But like, it can feel overwhelming, because it's like, is this one the right one? Is that one the right one? Just pick one. Just choose one. Maybe ask a few people, and don't try to over optimize on the first step. Like, try something. Just take one and commit to it. Realize that it's going to be hard, it's going to be weird, it's going to stretch your mind in different ways, and like, when you're actually putting effort into learning, when you feel that cognitive load, that's when the work is happening. So if it's hard, you're doing it right. That's the first thing to realize. And if it turns out you're like doing a tutorial and you're like, no, this is not for me, you can always just change and do another one. It's fine. There are loads of different people who've made good things, and you'll find your flavor. And try to see it through, and make sure you get your hands dirty and actually write the code. Don't just read it, don't just watch other people, actually do the work yourself. And use LLMs to help you when you get stuck, but always try to understand like every line of code. You need to understand the intention of every single line. And the last thing is build stuff, like come up with a project, build something for your mom. It doesn't matter, just like try and solve a real problem and get it out there, and that's where the real learning happens.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like, you know, like the slogan some company use, just do it.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So thank you so much, Sheena. We learned a lot from that, and so glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers.